Hey, good morning. I want to kind of give you a little bit of a video update, a little bio update, mission statement on what we are about, what VetACon is really about, and why and how we can go forward in our mission. Uh, Back a few years ago, I've been an artist. I draw, paint, play music for years, 40 some years. And I've tried to get into different VFWs and the DAVs and different organizations when they had arts and crafts events, and they were always full of paparazzi and Etsy and Tupperware things that wasn't gotten arts and crafts related. And I was like, dang, how can a old combat vet like me get into something like this when I'm competing with people who are buying stuff offline to sell or yard sales or flea markets? In fact, there was one business here that wanted to kind of throw what we're doing into with a flea market. And I said, no, we ain't doing it. We don't lower our standards. We are purely arts and crafts artisans. But then I entered the National Veterans Creative Arts Festival. I tried it 3 times. I got in twice. 2016, 2018, 2017. I was awarded Veteran of Influence Award. So these awards, these the MV lab that I was in kind of pushed me in that direction, and I'm glad of it. It's like we need to have something to where instead of having an organization out there, we want to raise money to take veterans fishing. Well, okay, or whatever it might be. I'm just saying that top of my head because I don't know if anybody does that, but there are probably something like we want to raise money to give a veteran a camper. And again, whatever. But if you want to do a fundraiser, here's a good way of doing fundraiser, and it will also benefit the people coming in. Instead of getting volunteers to do this and that, to where you take every bit of the money that you have for the whatever it is you're doing. If you want to help veterans out, very, very, very easy. Have an event to where, okay, if you got a booth that you're selling your products with, we got to charge you for a booth. That's like any arts and crafts events out there, period. Any, from the VFWs to the Legions to whatever, they charge a booth fee. If you want to get into a bigger event, they're probably charging $300 or $400 for a weekend because like Comic Cons, this gives you the opportunity to sell your products. Okay, I got a booth. What that does is not only they has income for that place coming in, so they can pay the rent. Like say for example, if I'm renting a building out to have this arts and crafts, and it's going to cost me X amount of dollars, well, I need to compensate that money in to pay for the rental. I won't be making it. So, for example, if it costs me $300 to rent a building for a day, well, if I'm charging $30 for each vendor, I need to at least have 10 vendors just to break even. I'm not making anything, but the vendors are offsetting my cost by help paying for their own booth. Okay. That gives them opportunity to sell their products. Now, if we're thinking about, well, we also need to have music. Music draws people in. Well, with arts and crafts vendors, they have the opportunity to sell their CDs or their art or their hats or their comic books or whatever it is that they have. With musicians, that's all they have to present is their playing ability. They're getting up here and playing entertaining. So we have to pay them something. It can't be, maybe it ain't much, but it all depends on, again, how many vendors can we get to fill that area? So if we got 10 vendors at $30 a piece, that pays off the rent, pays off the building fee. If you got more vendors than that, if we got 20 more vendors, 20 vendors or 30 vendors, then we use some of that money to pay off the entertainment. We still come out even. We've got the vendors, and the vendors help pay for the musicians. A lot of times musicians and singers are bringing their guitars, bringing their amps, or bringing their speakers, or bringing all the money, the equipment that costs them money to perform. By doing this way, we give everybody the opportunity we help them help themselves. Okay, so if we get a big event, a super huge event, and I'm trying to get foothold. I'm trying to get this as big as a Comic Con, because if we can have Comic Con conventions and having these big things to honor fictional superheroes, Why can't we really have them to honor the real heroes? Okay, so it's honoring Superman and Hulk and all this and cosplay fictional characters. Why don't we have something geared toward the real heroes? That's what my main goal is. So if we're having an indoor outdoor event, you think, well, we're going to raise money up for getting this veteran a new car, give them cars away. And again, I'm just making stuff up, but you can get the idea. Well, we still got to have expenditures. Okay, so if we got people coming in, well, hey, we got booths for sale. If you want to get a booth, only $30, $40, $50, whatever. Because if you're going to have something that kind of a big prize, you're going to have more, charge more for the booth. That's just common sense. If we want to give away a car, maybe a used car, whatever, but still, we got to have money generated in it to compensate or pay for that. So a booth might be $50 booth or whatever. But you also go look at, hey, these musicians coming out and playing. Now, if they're just some good old boys, hey, there's a good Bubba Jed over here. He just about 2 streets away. He'd do it for free, Okay. But if you're getting some bigger names to play and they live 3 or 4 or 5 counties away or state away, you got to compensate them for doing that. Okay. And that's just simple how it is. So, but what happens is you got to look at all this expenses. Okay. What we're going to do is if we can generate whatever the money we generate, well, we want to kind of give them all the money we might. Well, you got to think about it. These people that come out here to do your shows, they don't want to do it all for free. They want to make something out of their wares or music. You say, well, hey, if you come out here and play, we'll give you $100 to play for 2 hours. Well, you say, oh, that's $100, man. That's a lot of money. Yeah, but you say if you have booths fees, say we'll have 30 booths. You pay for a booth, you're helping the cost of paying the entertainment. We have food out here for sale. $10 a plate. You get corn on the cob. You get fish fry. You get hamburger, whatever. Well, that's going to be money also generated, not only to pay for the food, but we can have a little money paid over for the prize money. So you can say, well, I got all this money coming in now. I got over $15,000 coming in. It cost me almost $12,000. Well, still, you got $3,000 to do with what you're looking at. And everybody's there gets a chance to make a little something. Okay. So you really want to make sure when we have a veterans organization, we want to make sure every veteran has the opportunity. That's what we're for. We're not just for ourselves. So if we do a fundraiser, we want a fundraiser where every veteran there can prosper. So, and what we try to do as Veteran Security of ours is teach veterans free. How do we go about doing this arts and crafts event? What do you need? Well, we need to help you, show you how to get a table and how to get tents and how to get stuff. Okay. But also there are veterans out there that want to learn how to play music. We want to make sure we have books to give them with QR codes that goes to the website. So all this takes money. I'm putting out of my own pocket to give veterans for free. So when I ask about getting a fundraiser, say, hey, we need to get a fundraiser up to something to where I can make veterans books on learning how to guitar. Then you might say, well, they got guitars for vets program out there. Yeah, they do. And that's part of the program. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with the Guitars for Vets program. It's a pretty good program. I was a teacher through it. But I teach more than what they learn. Now you can go on. There's got a different. They got different websites you can go on and learn more. But I give booklets with QR codes, knowing how to tune. Why is playing certain chords and certain keys important? Why learning the circle of fifths? Why learning music theory at all? Because I want you to start from the very, very foundation and understand the foundation. So when you build your house and you go this way or this way, you still have that basic foundation of knowing why the chords work within the keys and the notes work within the chords. What does BPM mean? What does timing mean? All this foundation stuff too. So we're getting that book straight out to veterans so they can learn, and if they have any questions, they come back to me. But this book will also apply anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, no matter where you go to learn music, they can never say you were taught wrong. Or, no, they just taught you this, or you should know this or this. That's like anything in life. I'll make sure you learn right. So with these books, we want to give away. We want veterans to have a head start, or maybe a banjo book, or maybe whatever it is might happen. Well, everything realistically anymore, though, is online. So if I provide a card, just a simple card, just a business card with a QR code on it, and then go that QR code and it goes on the internet, it can have all this. It can have all the information there too. But we want to have a book so people can read in front of them and study it. That's what we're looking at books for. So we need money for that. So when we do fundraisers, if we can ever do fundraisers for VetACon, that's what we're going to look for: is materials to give away free to other vets. Currently, I'm trying to work on calendars, trying to help calendars. So we all trying to really help each other out now. But so earlier I said something about sharing business pages. I'm hoping to share them out. So when you go to our VetACon page here, you can see we have more things we can do: weddings, karaoke, galleries, photo, digital art. So we have a lot more things down here. So if you scroll down, you can see what says reviews. You can see we're a 5-star rated review, 100% recommendation, because we really care what veterans if they can get involved in some type of creative art. So hopefully you'll check us out.